In this video, we'll be looking at this USB-C dock with shortcut buttons and volume knob from TobenONE. So it is in the sample for review, but as always, that does not affect our opinion in any way. So the specific model here is the UDS048, just for your reference, but we'll just go ahead and get into the box here. Looks like the first thing we have here is just kind of a view of the actual dock, so we can go ahead and take that out for now. And underneath here we have the cables, so this is for connecting your MacBook or laptop to this actual dock via USB-C. And then we have the power cable as well. So this is a pretty compact power cable, all things considered. It's 100 watts, which is going to go to this, and then you can run this cable from this device to your MacBook. So you'll be able to power this device and your laptop using this one power brick, which is awesome. And again, it's pretty compact for a 100-watt brick. A lot of them, have two different parts or a really big brick in the middle. This is kind of a normal laptop charger, which looks really good. And it's going to take up a lot of space where we have it plugged in. The final thing we have here is just the user manual, of course. So it's going to go ahead and tell you all the different features and all that, but we'll go ahead and put that to the side for now. So this dock's pretty unique in that it's not necessarily just adding some connectivity to your computer, but it's actually adding some functionality as well. So it's meant to sit on top of your desktop, and then you have this kind of big volume rocker on the top here, so you can go ahead and adjust the volume of your computer easily using this, which clicks as well. Then we have a button to easily lock your computer, a button to turn on and off your monitor, a button to adjust the LED, which is built into this dock here, and then we have a button to easily take a screenshot as well. So if you want to do those options pretty quickly, it's nice to have this on your desk. You just push a single button, have a screenshot taken rather than having to perform a shortcut or anything like that. So it does all that while also acting as sort of a USB-C hub to connect all your peripherals. So looking further at the connectivity options, we have the SD card and microSD card slots on the bottom, which is great for connecting camera cards and all that pretty easily. Then on the back here's where we connect all of our peripherals, of course. So we have two USB 3 ports, a USB-C port, an Ethernet port, an audio port, HDMI port, a USB-C port for connecting to your computer, which will of course power the device and connect everything, and then the port for connecting the power supply to the actual dock. So a bunch of different connectivity options. It does only support one monitor, which is a bit unique for a hub, but I think you sort of make up for that in these extra function buttons. So it is kind of meant for someone that's using one monitor setup and wants to have these extra buttons added to their desktop for easy access. So it is a pretty unique setup overall. It's definitely for a specific user that uses these functions pretty often and only has a one monitor setup, but I would say it's pretty common, and it definitely looks really good sitting on your desktop. And then finally on the bottom here we do have a nice rubber ring, so it won't actually slide around on your desk when you're pushing the buttons and connecting things and all that. So definitely pretty well thought out. It has some really good weight to it and feels really good, but we'll just go ahead and get it all set up and show you what it looks like when it's all connected. Alright, so this is what our single monitor setup looks like with this docking station. We have the MacBook Air connected to this monitor. These speakers are connected as well, and then we do have a bunch of different ports still free here, but you can see the actual kind of dock connected here. So the monitor is connected via the HDMI port here. There is the cable going into the MacBook Air, and then there's of course the power cable going into the docking station, as well as this aux cable connecting the actual speakers. So again, we do have some ports still free here, as I showed earlier. There's the two USB ports, a USB-C port, and a LAN port, which is of course able to connect internet if you needed to, as well as your kind of random USB devices. It could be a flash drive or a printer, webcam, that sort of thing. So this port is still free at the moment, but it is definitely very easy to access. On a MacBook Air here, we only have USB-C ports, so that's kind of giving us some different connection options all using this hub. So the power cable is going into the back of this hub, and then the one cable is going to the MacBook here, which is connecting the speakers, the monitor, as well as any other devices you would like to connect later on. The final features here are the actual shortcuts. So we do have this pretty large volume knob. As you can see, it very easily adjusts the volume. Clicking on it mutes it and unmutes it, which is super nice. Then we do have a LED adjustment for the actual hub. And each tap will kind of change to the different LED settings. This is kind of a different changing mode. Tap it again and it will change to a different one and all that. So you can adjust all those LEDs on the actual hub itself via this button. Then we have a button which turns on and off the monitor. So this is pretty instant. I'll go ahead and push it, as you can see here. Turns off the monitor, turns it back on very instantly, which is pretty cool. Finally, we do have two other buttons here. This one's for taking a screenshot. If you go ahead and hold it down on Mac, or simply tap it on Windows, but you can go ahead and hold that down and it will take a screenshot, as you saw here, down there. And then finally we have a button which also you have to hold down on Mac, or you just push it on Windows, and that will go ahead and lock the MacBook. Like that. So it's very easy to use. It definitely adds quite a bit of functionality to your MacBook. It's definitely very easy, especially like this volume knob, just to kind of adjust everything on the fly, or if you want to quickly turn off your monitor or lock your MacBook or anything like that, you're able to do all that through this hub. It also serves, of course, as a kind of adapter for your HDMI, as well as the USB ports and Ethernet and all that, especially on a MacBook Air, which doesn't even have those ports. It's definitely nice to have that option. And of course, it is connecting everything via this one USB-C cable, so you're able to power your MacBook, connect all those peripherals, and get the shortcut functionality all through the one USB-C cable connected to your MacBook. So definitely works very well, and I'm very happy with it.